Nathan.
Hello.
Thank you ever so much for jumping on this. I really do appreciate all the way up north.
Yes,
way
from the
up north
Teesside.
as well.
Teesside area.
Whereabouts are you?
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. How is Middlesbrough doing it? How is the borough?
I mean, after the playoff final, yeah, we're all right. But yeah, not too bad up north.
Well, say no more. Yeah, but,
that was bad.
Yeah, and that was such a weird one as well, because obviously the whole Southampton thing as well, which for people who don't know, we're disqualified for spying.
I know. Like, who'd have thought it in this day and age that that's still going on?
Absolutely. I just all I got envision is just this person in this bush, just with a pair of like
a peeping Tom.
Nathan, the reason that we met or spoke to each other was because I've had a previous episode with Ali Boyd, who obviously talked about her situation. Anybody who's watching this can go back and go over that episode as well. And she recommended that I get in touch with you. And I said, who? And then she said, and I looked at actually what you're doing. So you are, are you the founder of Mental Health Car Bike Club?
Excellent. I am, yes.
Okay. And just for anybody who's listening or watching this, it probably there's a clue in the title, obviously, but just tell me about what that is.
So we're a community. We bring people together through a shared passion of cars and motorbikes, while trying to promote positive mental health and well-being within our community. The vehicles are an initial conversation starter, and then as we go on, we try to shift the focus into building friendships, reducing isolation, and creating a space where people can feel supported and belong.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, community, because what we're finding with a lot of mental health is this isolation from other people. I mean, are you finding that people are coming to you because they are lonely or things like that?
A bit of both. We have like people who come with their friends as well. They've come along with their friends in their vehicles. But we do have people who have no friends, who feel isolated, that don't have nowhere to turn to, that they've been through the traditional methods of therapy, mental health services, and we're just a little bit of an alternative to that. We still promote the traditional side of things because there's some great services and providers out there, but it's just that alternative and maybe the foot in the door for some people as well. So yeah, we're finding a lot of people that are isolating themselves are starting to come, and then they're growing up and leaving sort of their life that they had isolated to now a vibrant life where they're outgoing and attending meets on a regular basis.
Which is great, because when you think about it, we were always tribes, weren't we?
Yes.
We were always with people, and and that wasn't. They say that the reason that a lot of us are getting this mental health is because we are biologically primed that we're supposed to be with others as well, and so when we're by ourselves all the time, the body and the brain doesn't know what to do. It's just mad, because I think there's so many reasons for that, isn't there?
I think a lot of our members as well. I mean, I don't know what it's like down south in your way, but up north we don't really have much up here. Things for people to do. So especially when COVID hit, and we were all in lockdown, people were isolated from going out, connecting with friends and family. Like, people started going into downward spirals mentally.
That was huge.
That was a real shifter in the society, of people isolating, and then people got used to being by themselves. So then going around other people again, it was a new experience and a scary experience for some. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're trying to get people to overcome, that isolation and fear of it. But I don't think society sort of helps with expectations and the things that go on in the world this day.
That is the thing. I mean, it's weird. Well, I think back 6 years ago to when all the COVID hit, and you think back to when we were queuing up to get into supermarkets, and you think, what the hell were we doing?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a completely different time ago now.
we were all like puppets on a string, weren't we? Having to follow all these rules and social distancing and stuff like that. And it's like as if now when we're talking about it, it was 6 years ago. You know, like that's flown by in time wise, and how much stuff's gone on since in them 6 years. It's just been non-stop, I don't think, from there.
And I remember as well the when if you were allowed to go to a restaurant or a bar or something like that where you couldn't go get your drink, it had to be brought to you, but it was okay to have this, that, and the other. There was so many weird things, but I think one thing that we did lose during that was this idea of just being around each other, and I think even when all lockdown finished, people were still kind of hesitant about going out again and being around other people. And I don't know. I just don't think we as a people have kind of recovered from that time. No. I think we've all just been a bit like, what the hell was that? We've just gone through an acid trip and you come out the other end and go, what the?
Yeah, off your rocker, still don't know what's going on. I mean, yeah, you know, like the changes that were made during that time, and then there was still certain rules that we had to apply to when the lockdown was lifted, so it didn't give people that initial starter to what they were used to from before lockdown. It was a case of, right, well, you still have to do this after it, so you couldn't go immediately into go give your family or friends a hug after not seeing them for so long. It was still having to like stay back for a certain length of time, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it was a shit time, and I still think about to those videos where you see people going to see their loved one, but through the window.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it really is, and I think. I mean, that bell has been rung numerous times about, things should have been done about it. They should be looking into it now. But it doesn't stop the fact that whatever issues it caused then are still lingering today, especially with the mental health. I mean, it was a thing before then. It certainly ramped up big time. I mean, what's your kind of own experience with mental health? Because I've certainly had my issues, big time issues with it. I mean, how's it affected you?
Really bad sometimes, I've self-harmed, I've tried to overdose, there's been times where it's just got unbearable, where you can't cope with anything, and no matter what you try to focus on, the positive stuff, there's just no getting out of it, and especially during that COVID period, I did suffer a lot, because obviously I was isolated. I didn't have that outlet to go to, and it just kept me from being my normal self. And then my mind started playing tricks on me when I was in there, and it just led from one thing to another. But yeah, I mean,
did it start then, or was it lingering there beforehand?
I've had mental health issues since prior to COVID. It's just, I think during COVID period, it was because of the isolation that it came out a lot more. Obviously you had nowhere to vent to. You couldn't even phone up mental health services because they weren't allowed to work neither. You weren't allowed to work.
I ain't being funny, but what is there anyway in terms of mental health services? I mean, I've said this example so many bloody times, but I still remember someone I knew who was going through a mental episode, and they phoned the mental health crisis team and said, look, this is happening, I need help in that. And all they got told was go and have a bath.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Should I chuck the toaster in with it as well?
Exactly. That's the thoughts that's going to go through your head because you're not in a stable position. So when someone's not giving you the full attention and care that you need, I mean, yeah, the services, and I think it's like most of the places in the country now, they're just underfunded, understaffed. Yeah. They don't have the resources, they don't have the time because of the amount of people that are suffering with mental health, and the waiting list's getting too long and too it's like an interview process now. You have to like answer and tick certain boxes for you to then make it to the next stage, and before you actually get seen. And it's ridiculous. If someone's presenting themselves with mental health, it should be a priority to get them seen, because you never know what the outcome could be if you turned it away.
Absolutely. This is where the problem is, right? There are always going to be the extreme cases, and there always will be.
Yeah.
But because you haven't ticked that final box doesn't mean that you're okay.
Exactly.
It's just that you're not as extreme as the person who's just above you, but you're still having to live this in the meantime.
Yeah. You're not at that stage
is that where you found yourself then? Was that sort of in that kind of area?
Yeah, like you'll go through the questions about you and then, oh, well, do you think you're actually going to hurt yourself? Well, I don't know, like
How would you know?
I'm not sure. Okay, well, if the answer is yes, then give us a call back. Well, probably now that you've rejected my help or rejecting me for help, I'm probably going to try and hurt myself, because what other alternative I've got? I've used that final gasp of my will to reach out for help, and yet you're telling me I don't qualify for it. Okay, so then what's the point on even asking for help? Phone down. It's like, that was my mindset. How many other people's mindset have been worse than that once they've heard that sort of reply back and done something tragic?
Because I'll tell you for why, Nathan, the energy it takes to just get to that point, to phone someone.
Yeah.
Because you could, when you're in that, you don't want to reach out to anybody.
No.
So it's doubly, triply hard to just contact someone, to then get, in your eyes, knocked back.
Yeah.
It is then a kind of like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah, it's a big kick in the teeth. It's like your mental health doesn't matter because you're not at the stage that our textbook thinks that you should be.
Yeah.
And we don't help you if you don't match this textbook. And it's like everybody suffers with mental health differently. It can be the littlest things for one person, it can be the biggest things for the other person. And yet everybody still gets treated differently when it comes to mental health. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be based on someone's opinion of what it should be. It should be based on the person's feelings and emotions at that time.
And in all fairness, it is its own pandemic, to be honest. In there, I've done a little bit of research. Well, I say a little bit, a tiny bit of research. So I'm just going to share it onto here. So basically, it said it is estimated that over 3.8 million people in the UK are in contact with NHS-funded mental health services each year, because many common mental health issues go undiagnosed. Shows that roughly 1 in 4 adults experience a diagnosable mental health problem each year. I mean, 1 in 4. I mean, we're looking at 15 million people. Absolutely. Roughly 1 in 5 adults in England have a condition such as generalized anxiety disorder or depression. I mean, even young people, 1 in 5 children and young people ages 8 to 25 in England have a probable mental health problem. The problem with that is that you are always going to get the people who will say, have you though?
Yeah. It's like when we were kids. Can you remember, like, if anybody had a problem or was, I don't know, had mental health issues or other learning difficulties at school, you were just a naughty little shit.
Yes.
You didn't have no problems. You were just a naughty little shit. The amount of times my mum got dragged into the school, your kid's a naughty little shit. Well, no, I've got ADHD, I've got PTSD, I've got bipolar. Like, what do you expect this kid to do? He's not a naughty little shit. It's you're not educating him the way that he needs to be done.
Absolutely. I mean, what was school like for you?
It was quite hard because I had a problem with my eyes. I never wore glasses like from birth on, like upwards. I think it was about 6-year-old when I got it, when I got my glasses. But yeah, I had trouble seeing the board, so I was a bit slow at learning from things. And again, the teachers, oh, he's a naughty little shit. Oh, he's thick as shit. He doesn't understand simple alphabets and maths. Then we ended up getting passed from pillar to post, and finally, like, someone said, I think he needs to go get his eyes tested. Went and got my eyes tested. Yep, need glasses. As soon as I put my glasses on.
Funny enough, there we go.
Yeah, first day back in school, Nathan, what does that say? A, B, C, D, E, F, and the teacher was gobsmacked. And my mum was fuming. She was like, you dare call my son a naughty little shit or a thick shit again? Like, but that's how it was treated back then. You weren't given any sort of help, and it wasn't recognised for schools to acknowledge.
No, and you end up feeling like you're less than at that point, and from an early age, and that's when like all your ideas about yourself and all that are starting to form. And from the get-go, you're being told you're thick.
Yeah,
you're not the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see then how it knocks things down the road for like mental health when you're growing up. Teenagers, Christ, don't even get me started on being a teen, you know, before you then go on to being an adult.
I've got a 17-year-old, and that's even worse when you've got your own teenager. It is though. As much as we were little shits and naughty buggers when we were teenagers, having your own teenager is a whole different ball game.
Oh no, I can imagine. And so you've been in positions very similar to me where you've wanted to end it all. Self-harmed. I've been there, done that, hid it as well. I don't know if you did with yours or not.
Yeah, for a while I did. I would just put on that smart face, you know, smile and wave, boys, and get on with life.
Yeah. So what would you say was your lowest moment?
For me, there's sort of 2 points that was my really worst part. It was when I lost my grandfather. He was like my main idol, my main role model in my life. And when I lost him, it really sent me on a downward hill. I just couldn't recoup of anything, and I didn't have time to mourn for him because shortly after that I was fighting for custody for my daughter. You know, so yeah, so for like losing my granddad and fighting for custody, they were sort of probably the two most lowest points because I just didn't know how to cope. You know, I tried to keep it all calm and collective for my daughter to obviously show that I was the right parent for her. And yeah, it was still, you know, like the things that you were hearing in the court case, what my ex was saying about me and everything, it was that just played a massive effect on me because my mind believed it, you know, at that time. Like, I know now, looking back on it, that everything that she said, she was full of shit. But at the time, like, getting told them things, especially from like a solicitor in courtroom, you know, it knocked me for six. My confidence
It's a little
went
bit
down.
like being told by a teacher when you're a child that you're thick.
Exactly.
And you're not good enough.
All comes back, you know, you get all of them emotions, all of them feelings again. And it's like, oh, your mind thinks, oh, well, this is a pattern, so it must be true. You know, people are saying these things because they can. And yeah, I just didn't have any encouragement, any enthusiasm. I was in court and I was just mumbling and stumbling my answers to the judge half the time. And yeah, so they were probably my lowest points, I think, that I've.
How long ago was this?
Well, I've had full custody of my daughter now for close to 15 years. So, you know, she's 18 next month. I mean, it was a bit on and off until it got finalised in court, but yeah, it's probably been close to about 15 years now. So, you know, it was still a case of having to deal with my granddad's death, then having to fight in court for my daughter, then switching to full-time parent, because I did end up winning custody of her. So it was like,
which is quite unusual, to be honest.
Really, really unusual. You know, the courts. I mean, the courts did mess it up a few times, you know, in the process, because it was all one-sided, and there was some times where I had no representation, so I couldn't get them points to the judge across that needed to be done in a professional manner. It was more just anger that I was saying to the judge, you know, so there was some times where it was ups and downs, but through the reports.
It's not a natural environment, is it? I mean, when are you normally ever in court, you know, and you've got a judge and you've got solicitors and everything feels intense, and you've got somebody over there who's saying that you've done X, Y, and Z, when you're thinking to yourself, when was this? I can't remember it.
Like, half the stuff that she came out with and the solicitor said, I was just gobsmacked with, but like, the judges sat there, and because obviously I had no voice for myself in there, I didn't know what to say. So then all these things that are getting said, you could see the look on the judge's face. It's like, well, this could be true, you know. And it's like, how can I convince you and prove that I'm not that person? And still
if you don't mind me asking, what was it you was accused of having done then?
All sorts of things: anger issues, drugs, drinking, violence towards her and the child, neglect, and yeah. Like as soon as social services and all the reports started coming, the balance of the accusations started going the other way because there was proof. There was proof of everything on her side. They had nothing on me. Social services.
It's just a dirty game, though, isn't it? It's just a dirty game of like, how can I completely destroy this person? Not only just have the child, but completely destroy all reputation of this person.
Yeah, and I mean, like when we were together and when the baby was born, like I live in Middlesbrough and she lives in Coventry. So we were like 200 miles from each other. So I'd moved away, I'd moved down to Coventry and that, and that's when it started going all tits up when I'd moved down there. I was by myself down there. I had no friends, I had no family. I wasn't bothered about that at the time because I just wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be there for my child. And yeah, as soon as we went down there, that was the problems. They all started coming, and she saw like how it broke me while I was down there. And women, or some women, should I say, because not everyone's the same. Some women will say to you at the beginning, yeah, no matter what happens to us, if we end up splitting up, I'd never stop you being a father.
Oh, that is the exact same phrase I had.
Yeah, it's funny how that phrase gets used quite fluently, isn't it?
Do you know what? Not that I'm glad that you heard it and you got it, but in a way, it's like, I'm not the only one who's heard that, because that was the exact phrase I got. I had, if we were to ever split, which I don't even know why that was being brought up in the first place, but there we go. If we were to split, I wouldn't be the kind of person who would stop you from having anything. Yeah. Now, in all fairness, I do see mine, but it is every other weekend and it is at the behest of her and her rules and this, that, and the other. So, it's not as bad as some people, but it's worse than a lot of people, Yeah. But it's a horrible thing, because you just think, you lying bitch, because you said that, and now and then with you lying all the way through the court as well.
Yeah, and it did, and that was just like, I mean, obviously it wasn't a shock because it was like, sort of knew it was coming at the time. But yeah, it was an easy thing for her to say, oh, I won't do this. Well, I'll promise you, you'll have full access to it. As soon as we split up, I think it must have been like 4 to 5 months before I was even allowed any phone contact, let alone face-to-face contact with her. And like,
what were those 4 or 5 months like?
Absolute killer. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't have left Coventry. I would have stayed there. But again, I had nobody. I had no friends. I had no family. What people I did know were all her friends, all her family. And as soon as we split up, whose side are they going to be on?
Yes.
So it was like I stayed down there for, I think it was 2-3 months. And yeah, I just couldn't do it no more. Like I say, my mental health started going downhill because I was so isolated, staying in the house. I wasn't allowed to see my daughter. I had to prove that we weren't together anymore for claiming any money, was trying to look for work. And yeah, so it was just a struggle. So I just decided I have to come back home. At least I've got support up here, and starting off from afresh, I'll have to do it. It was my decision to leave. It's my decision to come back. So I have to deal with the consequences of starting from that fresh, And luckily, my mindset wasn't blocked from me starting that fresh start when I came back up. Because if I'd have stayed in that mindset that I was, I probably would have never resumed contact with my daughter. So luckily, through my family and friends' support that I had at the time, it got me level-headed, and that's when I started the process off to go to court.
Well, that's the thing. You had the support then. It's that group, it's that tribe, it's that people behind you. And I think that is, whether it's knowledge, by consciously or subconsciously, I think that's then when you have that character assassination against you. It's to try and isolate you from everybody else, which they then know causes even more damage.
Yeah. And it did, you know, like when the things that were getting said to me, like you said, even from when the teacher would that said that at school, it replays back in your head everything that, even in a fun way, a joke way, a serious way, that someone said about you in the past, all comes rushing back into your head, and you start asking that question: is it true? You know, so then
Am I a
okay,
piece of shit?
yeah, okay, so
You
then do I start acting like a piece of shit? This is what I'm portrayed to be, so okay, I'll be a piece of shit. You
yeah.
say I'm a piece of shit, I'll be that piece of shit. But you know, like I say, luckily I had the friends and family to give me that support, so I didn't turn into a piece of shit.
You can see how some people do though, can't you? They just,
Oh, yeah,
you think because it's that fight or flight. Okay, well you've backed me into a corner now. Well, I'm gonna go.
yeah,
I'm gonna
that's all
go.
right. We do,
Um,
and that's our natural instinct, is to fly away from it, not fight. You know, so some people don't stand there for the fight. Some people don't take that on the chin. They'll take it and right, that's it, never again, walk away.
it's no secret though that when it comes to mental health, it does seem that men are more affected, and especially if
Yeah,
we look at the suicide rates of men.
yeah,
Again, something that I looked into prior to come onto here. So let me share this again, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to just have a look at the notes. So it said in the UK, approximately 4,500 to 5,000 men tragically take their own lives each year. This equates to around 3/4 of all suicide deaths in the country, meaning roughly 13 to 14 men die by suicide every single day in the UK. Uh, men 45 to 54 have the highest suicide rates of any age group. Leading cause of death, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 50. I mean, I remember when that was lower than that.
yeah.
I think I still remember when it was 40 and now it's 50. What's going on? What's causing this?
I don't think anyone has the answers for it. You know, I think it's a combination of everything put together. You know, home life, work life, financial life, expectations from modern society, you know, how we're supposed to be, and the way things are changing from what we're used to. I think it's playing a huge effect on everyone, because some people aren't ready for change. Excuse me, you know, so I think a lot of,
I think there's a couple of things here. I think there's a couple of things in the respect of one, I think men, rightly or wrongly, are starting to feel like, what is my purpose anymore? Because I think the purpose of being a man seems to have changed dramatically.
yeah,
And all you ever see anywhere you look is you're not needed anymore, you're not wanted anymore, toxic masculinity, you shouldn't be manly, it's negative. And then also, you've got this whole change in life, which is what we call modern life. So, whether it's social media and things like that,
yeah.
do you think it's modern life itself that's making people unhappier?
I think it is because, you know, like I say, the expectations from what you see on social media, people see all of these high life, rich, fancy celebrities and influencers online, and people just think that they have to be that as well to become popular, to have a friend, to be recognized in the world. And people don't, you know, people just need to be themselves. Stop trying to be everybody else and just be your own individual self. You know, if you try and copy everybody else, you're just another puppet on the string.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even these people aren't like that as well. I mean, you look at
No, no.
all the guys on there with the Lambos and things like that. They don't own those Lambos; they're renting
Oh
them.
no.
Okay,
That's it. Half of them are on tick, you know, half of them are on tick from the bank.
absolutely, absolutely. They don't have all these things, and then you go look at it and go, "Oh, I've only got my Skoda," and this person's got a Lambo and he's only 25. Yeah, he hasn't got it either. So
Yeah. And
it's
and sometimes the younger people have got mummy and daddy to put the finance and deposit up front for them, and you know.
there
So
we
yeah,
go.
it's the expectations, but again, like parents' expectations, what they what they'll allow the kids to. So you'll get a young lad who then thinks, oh, well, I need a Lamborghini to match my friends. His parents will give him one. But then the next generation who look up to a young lad with a Lamborghini, you'll be like, oh, well, I want a Lamborghini when I'm that age. And they have to expect to, okay, well, that's me going to be fitting in society if I've got a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
It's not,
And if you don't have it, you then become like how you felt when you was a kid, was saying you're not as good as everybody else.
Too right, and why should you? Why should you have to match everybody's expectations? You shouldn't. You just be yourself. That's the best expectation that you can give yourself, is just being yourself. And with social media influence, I don't think it helps people be the natural self and true self.
Do you know what, Nathan? I'm so glad that I spent all of my growing up without social media. I mean, there were still things. I mean, that's not like social media, but it was a different time. And at the risk of sounding like in my day, it just was. It was a different time.
Oh, it was, and even still, like I say to my child all the time, like she can just message her friends, "What you up to? Are you coming out?" I had to walk like nearly 5 miles to go and knock on someone's door, and they weren't even in. So then I had to walk 5 miles back and then go back half an hour later to see if he was back in, and he still wasn't in, and then walk back.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is, even though they're together now, they're still not together because they're all looking at the phone.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, the amount of times that we sit down and watch movies sometimes, and yeah, guilty as charged sometimes myself, but like I am sat there looking at my phone, but yeah, she's on the phone talking to her friends, everything like that, and it's like, yeah, the movie, it's like, yeah, I'm still watching it.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Okay, right. I want you to write an essay now on what it was about and what.
That's it. Now they've got that Chat GPT, haven't they? So they can just do that and tell you
there we
everything.
go. But it's scary. It's just ruined people's attention span. It's made people. Everything's got to be an instant thing now. There's no kind of working towards something and then feeling like, oh, I've earned this. It's got to be. If I can't get it now, it's not any good. And it's also got to be a condensed version. I mean, probably the reason they don't watch films is because they can't watch films for long. I mean, this is the TikTok shorts kind of generation. I mean, God, if there's a movie longer than 10 minutes, my God, help you. So
like my kid watches all of the kill scenes and stuff, throughout a movie. So if it's a horror movie, it's like a recap that's in 15 minutes, and she'll come in and tell me exactly everything that happens in the film because she's watched a 15-minute clip on it. I'm like, yeah, but the movie's 2 hours. How do you know all that? Because it tells you in the 15-minute clip. So why didn't you just watch the movie? Well, what's the point? I can find out in 15 minutes. But you're taking that joy and excitement away from watching the film.
It's that instant dopamine hit, which they're almost become dopamine junkies by sort of proxy, that constantly looking for the dopamine hit, the justification of what happened, instead of that slow build, and I don't know. I think that we're nurturing many generations of what I think are going to be mentally unwell people down the road.
So right, because when half of these things stop and it becomes not a trend anymore or not the way of life, what they're going to do then? All these people who have lived and adjusted their life to that sort of living, like what happens when that changes? Then people are going to be affected by it because they've followed suit, and now that change has come across, they can't be who they've made themselves to be. I think social media it has its pluses, for what you can use social media for, but it also has its really bad negatives on how people should be in life and how things they should expect.
Well, I also think it's hollowed people out. I think everybody now is just, especially of a certain age, they're just surface level.
Yeah.
There's no depth to anything because obviously they've not been allowed to grow as people because everything's been instant gratification for everything. And I know there's going to be plenty of kids who are not like that. They're completely different and all that, and I'm sure yours are absolutely different, but they're going to have an awful lot of adults who can't talk, who can't communicate full stop, who have no attention span. They are constantly looking for something to follow, like a trend and all that. And if it's not there, then it's like, well, what do I do? Because they've got no initiative of their own. It's worrying. It's
Oh,
scary.
absolutely. Yeah, because they're dependent on everybody else to give them that foot. You know, that first foot forward. It's like there's no creativeness, sorry, through people anymore now because they're all waiting for somebody else to start it first.
And if they did have any creativity, it's now gone because you've now got AI to do it for you
Yeah.
instead.
I mean, sometimes it works wonders. I do a lot of my posters for the club with
There
AI.
you go.
It
You mean
works
that
all
isn't
right.
you? You haven't done it
No.
yourself. Like...
I'll tell it what to do, but yeah. So technically, me and ChatGPT were like 50-50 on projects.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good aid. I just wonder if people, we're just going to become so lazy eventually that we just don't produce anything ourselves.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, look at what you've got there to create for you now already using AI. You know, music, songs, poems, anything you can think for AI to create, it can practically do it now. So, you know, people, like I say, people's creativeness just goes because something can do it for them now. Give it your idea. Yeah, you've got that little bit of creativeness with the idea, but you're not expanding on it by someone else producing your stuff for you.
I know, it's mad. Have you heard some of these AI songs?
Some of them are quite good. Some of them,
good.
yeah.
They're good. And then you think, my God, I mean, where, you know, if you got talent, okay, that's fine. But this thing just click, 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 and there it is. You wouldn't know the difference.
I think it's more scary because with the AI artist as well, like the voices don't change. So you believe that it is somebody who's actually singing that song when it's just an artificial intelligent voice. And it's like, Jesus, I don't know if you've heard of Kane Walker. He's a country singer. He's AI. He's not a real person. He's AI. And I was gobsmacked when I found out. I'm like, what? And it was like, yeah, he's an AI. But no, can't believe it because his voice never changes throughout any of his songs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
that is where we're going.
Yeah, like it's scary that they can keep that same voice throughout 150 odd songs that they've done so far.
And all you know is that there's somebody who's sitting in the back of it raking in the money from it. Absolutely. No cost whatsoever. Touring would be a bit interesting though.
Oh yeah. Well, they'll probably do them 3D hologram things that they did with
Gorillas. They did Gorillas.
Yeah, and they did the 2-pack and stuff like that with them. Like
yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I think they did ABBA like as well. I think they did
they've done a few, haven't they?
The thing with AI is and where it's starting to go as well, and it kind of ties in with you guys as well, is starting to go into cars as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just the kind of person. Now, I'm not a car person, so I could look under the bonnet and go, I ain't got a clue what that is. But I do like cars, but I like cars to be functional. And one of the biggest gripes I've got are all these massive screens that are in cars now. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, you can't use your phone in a car, but apparently you can keep pressing on a screen to change the ventilation and open the windows and all that, and whilst you're driving, and apparently that doesn't count as being distracted. I mean, what do you think about that?
Some of the laws that they've got are ridiculous, and some of the screen sizes that they've got are absolutely ridiculous now. You see them, and half of the dash at the front's just a full bloody screen that you can touch and alter colours, and like some of the cars are nice, you know, the designs, and yeah, I think that's probably about it.
I just think that, you know, when you've got more technology there, it's more, in my mind, it's more things to go wrong.
Yeah, more
and then it's more expensive to cost. Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at one of the BMWs, like the new ones, and even down to just opening and closing the window. Instead of it being a button there, you had to like open up a screen and then like that. And I'm just like, oh, come on now. This is getting a bit stupid now.
Even your mirrors, you can't like adjust your mirror with a little handle at the side of it anymore. You've got to press the button, or you've got to press your screen, and it alters it on the screen, so you've got a good view. And it's like, well, just done. Takes it away, doesn't it?
I mean, what's your opinion on like Teslas? Because really, they were like the sort of forefront of all this.
I think the idea of an electric cars are good, you know, but I don't think we're ready for them just yet. It's not productive for society yet, you know, and to
Well, we
wipe
haven't
out
got the infrastructure for it yet.
exactly, you know, and to wipe out all of the petrol and diesel cars to replace them with electric cars. It's like, yeah, maybe in 100 years' time, electric cars will be suited for society, but they're not at this time. You know, like we don't really need electric cars, and to have them sort of forced upon you, it's
Well, isn't it a case of the dealers have to sell a certain amount
yeah,
to meet like a quota or something, and like people just don't want them
yeah,
because one, I mean, the energy prices mean that it can be sometimes more expensive to charge them up than it is just to get fuel. Secondly, you need to then have a charging port in your house, which you then got to pay for. Thirdly, like if you're in a normal petrol or diesel car and you're running low on fuel, you're probably going to be near a fuel station somewhere.
yeah.
But are you going to be near one to charge up? And if you are, A, is it going to work? And B, how long are you going to wait there for doing it?
Well, that's it. They've got these faster chargers now, which you pay more for to get your car charged up quicker. You know, and even still now they've put the road tax on them. When they first got introduced, there was
I
going to be
know,
no road tax. You
I
know,
know.
now it's at least £100 a year road tax for them. It's like, yeah, where did that come from?
You know, it won't stop there, mate. You know,
Oh
it ain't
no,
gonna say it'll be the next thing. It'll be the next thing. I reckon the next one will be like you won't be exempt from like the congestion charges in
yeah,
cities and all that. That will still count towards it for some
oh,
reason.
definitely.
But that's the thing, right? They go, oh, it's green, it's green, it's green. Right, where's your electric coming from
Yeah,
that you're powering it up with? You know,
diesel generators and everything else like that, doesn't it?
there we go, there we
Yeah,
go. Absolutely.
that does. Like I
I
say, I
don't know.
think the idea of it's good, and for the
Mm.
future, yeah, I think obviously if they say about global warming, climate change, and stuff like that, if we need to believe in that stuff and it goes that way, then yeah, these electric cars are going to come in handy for them times when it does become that way. But we're not that way, so it's just not needed at the moment.
No, absolutely. And I don't know. I get a little bit tired of the lecturing on us on how awful we are as a country when we produce 0.1% of all the emissions in the world, and yet we've still got
Exactly.
China, India, and all that are pumping out
I
everything
think
daily.
Texas alone in America
Yeah,
stands for like 0.5%, doesn't it? So
yeah,
how can it be that bad at 0.1%?
yeah. And yet here we are continuously flagellating ourselves, going how awful we are as people with our paper straws and all that. Go to
That's
America,
ridiculous.
they're not having paper straws, they're
Uh,
having plastic straws, my friend. They're
yeah,
not
all
worrying
right.
about it.
That's it. And I bet you're half of the charges that we're facing over here. Nowhere else in the world's facing them, you know.
No, absolutely.
Just
I
a
mean,
government scheme.
it was recently that they put up the road tax for some of these vehicles up to stupid amounts. I think was it £600-700 for like Mondeos and things like
Yeah.
that.
Mine's 459.
How much?
459 for the
What is it you got?
I've got a Vauxhall Astra Baton exclusive. So it's the convertible.
You dirty bastard! Here we
Oh.
go.
I've only had it for
Why?
a couple of months now, so
Yeah. What I mean, for what? What is this? What is this all for? I mean, it's mad.
what the car? Oh.
Well, no, yeah, there is that. No,
Oh,
I'm all right with you with the car, but some of these cars. I mean, I remember like back like when the big old diesel chuggers. I can understand that they were like putting them up to like £600 like that, but they were like big old engine vehicles and whatnot, and they were few and far between. But these ain't anything that's of a concern. I mean, what do you think about all of it?
I think they're just trying to increase the charges to again get a switch over into electric cars, you know, and to get all of the old emissions cars off the road so they can produce less emissions on these newer cars.
Yeah.
You know, even the way that they do the MOT testing now on the emissions, if it's over a certain height on cars that are that way, you fail your MOT instantly for it. So then you've got to go out and replace everything in it, so you're producing less emissions. And it's ridiculous. You know, it's just another way to get people to try and switch over to electric cars, hybrid cars, newer cars. So they're taking away that classic era and that retro lifestyle for some people.
I think though cars are something, because I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop. I don't even think it's trying to get people to do electric. I think they just want people to stop driving.
Yeah,
I think they just want people stick to your cities, 15-minute cities as they call it. You know, they don't want people on the roads. They want you to stay at home, don't travel around. But cars have been, for as long as they've been invented and people have started buying them on mass produced, it's been freedom for people. It's been opportunity to go to places, to work, to find work where you wouldn't do before. And you've even got your own community now where people are meeting up, or because of the mental health, but also because of the interest in cars. I mean, how did that sort of come into play? How did the sort of the club become a thing?
It was like through my own struggles of mental health, I just didn't have really an outlet to go to. But places that I found where I felt at ease, where I felt settled, where I forgot about my problems, were at car shows, at car meets, you know, and there was nothing that I'd saw that had that sort of thing where people who were struggling could actually meet up together, you know, and either discuss the problems or escape the problems. So I was just one day on Instagram having a look, and yeah, when I had the idea, I just typed in the name Mental Health Car Club on Instagram, and nothing was there. And I thought, well, no one started it. If it's not on Instagram, no one started it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I started it up, but it first started out as just a feature page. So I got people to sort of like recognise the page as everyone suffers together. It wasn't like individual stories or anything like that. We all suffer together. So send me in a picture of your car if you've suffered with mental health struggles, and I'll share it on my page. Hopefully there'll be other people there. They can then start following you. You can make some friends. If anyone lives in the same area, they've suffered as well, you could possibly meet up. And yeah, so that was the initial idea of it. And then obviously, I think it was in the first 6 months, I ended up getting like 1,500 followers in the first 6 months. Yeah, it went really popular in the first 6 months. And then everyone started asking questions. Are you hosting car meets? Do you have any merchandise? And it was like, well, actually, this is becoming more than just a feature page now. This is something that people are recognising as possibly an outlet and a supportive network for themselves. So yeah, I just went straight ahead with it, created the accounts, and nearly 2 years later, here we are.
Do you still remember your first meetup that you did?
Yeah, no one turned up. You know, yeah, no one turned up. It was me. There was me, my co-founder at the time, Mel, and somebody called Tom. We'd went to our local pub, we'd arranged it there, put it up, advertised it for like 3-4 weeks in advance, every day, every week in the same pages, same groups. We got there, there was only us three there. 4 hours, it happened. I think for the first 3 times that happened, just nobody turned up. And then we actually got in touch with a local music artist who was wanting some cars for a music video. So I told him, like, oh yeah, well, I could possibly put up a post and could possibly get you some cars, but at the same time, that could get me some people turning up to a car meet as well. He was like, yeah, go for it. So we did that, and I think it was like 27, 30 cars turn up from the first one with
Which,
that.
to be fair, to go from 0 to that
yeah, exactly, yeah. We were buzzing.
I only laugh because I can imagine that I would be exactly the same, where I organise something and nobody turns up.
Yeah.
You know, be like, oh, great, you know.
And that was the risk anyway, you know, from the beginning, because of what we were, mental health thing. We sort of knew that like the risk would, what if no one turns up, because they're afraid to come out and get help, or they don't want anybody finding out that they're struggling. So like, yeah, for the first one, it wasn't so bad that nobody turned up, but then the second one, nobody turned up. The third one, nobody turned up, and we're like, oh, this is just no good. So we'd all said, like, look, well, I'll go back home, I'll think about it, and if not, then we'll just stop it for me. It was a good idea, you know, but then, touch wood, we got in touch with the music artist, and yeah, just sort of picked up from there, and now we've got a community of around 5,000 people. So, like across our social media accounts and stuff, we've got about 5,000 people now.
Do you ever get anybody kind of like message you directly to sort of say, this is why I've signed up, or this is how you've helped me, things like that?
Yeah, we've just started a new event up at our local karting track called Talk. We have people come there. It's a public track night, so people come for a car meet and watch some track action. There was a bloke who came to our first one there, and I'd got a message off him like literally an hour after he'd left, and he was like, "Thank you so much for tonight. I've always wanted to come out and get into the scene, never had anywhere to pinpoint into the right direction. I always feel I was out of place, and he's turned up and he's fitted in straight to the family. You know, we've got him as one of our reps now in the club. He comes, he promotes us, he gets talking to people. The amount of friends that he's made now since he's attended our meets, that's what it's about, you know. Like, if we can connect people with other people to start friendships and get them happier in their lives, that's a job well done in my eyes.
Yeah, because I mean, all you're ever doing these things for is just for people to feel like
that
there's somebody else there, not to feel like you did, where you felt isolated and all that. I mean, to think about where you are now compared to, let's say, when you was at your lowest point, what would be something you would tell that person?
Keep going. Don't let the thoughts win, because if you let the thoughts win, you're never going to make any progress. You're still going to be in the same slump, and you're never going to see the good in anything. Have faith in yourself, have faith in society, and never give up. Just keep pushing forward. I think there's loads of things you can say to people, and loads of things that I could say to myself looking back of what I've gone through, but I think probably the main one would be to never give up.
Yeah, and I think that's a strong message, because I think what people think is, this is it. This is all I'm going to ever have. This is all I'm going to have. And I remember sort of thinking to myself, I have to think of this a little bit like it's a storm. And so you have to ride it out. But the storm passes. Instead of just thinking, this is now my life, this is all it is, I think you've just got to be able to say, I've got to ride it out.
Yeah.
But at the end, there's going to be more opportunities. It's not going to look so grey. I mean, what does life look like for you now?
Oh, it's fantastic now. You know, I couldn't be any more happier. I mean, yeah, obviously there's still some things that I'm still working on, you know, but mindset, outlook, setup of life is a hell of a lot better than what it was back then. And that's another reason why I started the club as well, to improve my own mental health, give me something to look forward to. And like, I get a buzz out of helping people, you know, I get a buzz out of creating meets and events for people to come and attend to, especially first timers, regulars. You know, I love seeing others interacting with each other, and for me that's probably the best that I could be and want out of my life. So yeah, at this moment in time, like, life's good. You know, I can actually say that life's good.
And I think it's all right to be able to say, well, look, you know, you're still going to have your times when things are shit. You know, it's gonna. Well, it's no different than anybody else. It is what
that's what makes us human. You know,
absolutely. But it's the shit
times.
It's the shit times and the shit days that make you appreciate the days that are good. Because you know what it's like on the other end. You are incredible in the respect of, you've recently saved someone's life as well.
Yeah,
which we were talking about before you came on.
Yeah. A little bit of a heroic event. Yeah, I was at a car meet. We hosted a car meet on a Tuesday, so we were over at that. I'd just come back and I was taking my dog for a walk, and my next door neighbour's kitchen was on fire. So we just went into panic mode and rang the doorbell. No answer. opened up the door, shouted up, no one was there, so I entered into the property, and the mother and child had fell asleep on the couch. Kitchen was on fire. Excuse me. So yeah, I just had to go in, wake them up, and try and get them out of the property as quick as I could before anything tragic happened.
Ain't it weird? Like you can almost have like a switch go off in your head where if you'd have thought about it, you should have gone, I ain't going in there. Place is on fire. You know, but you
And I'd warn everybody else not to go in. Don't go in. You'd get the poison, the carbon dioxide poisoning that you could get from it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So, but when you see it there, and you're probably the only person around that could help, it was no question really. Straight in and see what I can do to help. But luckily, everybody got out. Baby was fine. Mum was fine. Everyone went to hospital to get checked over, or got discharged the same night. So yeah, touch wood. Everyone.
Your street cred went up immensely in the area. Local hero.
It did. Now, when I walk past the ladies, I'm strut walking down the street. Like, yep, Superman's walking past now, ladies.
Absolutely. Very, and I said to you before the live stream, well done for you for doing it. I mean, not everyone would have done it. So I think that's credit to you. It's heroic, but also is what people would say what a man should do is to go in and protect and go in and help and whatnot. Yeah. I've already sort of said to you that the general gist of this channel and this podcast, we do sort of lean more towards men. I mean, last time I looked, 88% of the viewership of this channel are men.
Yeah.
And I think to touch upon the mental health side of things, like we said before, and modern society and all that, I think a reason a lot of men get involved in like your kind of setup that you have in my podcast and other things like that is because I think men have forgotten what it is to be a man and what it actually means. What do you think it means to be a man?
See, again, it's a tough question to answer because of what's expected from people. You can have expectations from family, you can have expectations from social media. I think being a man just means someone who can love, protect, show compassion for, provide, and support the best to their ability. I don't think there's any true definition of what equals a man because not everyone is the same, and other people's opinions of what a man should be and what a man shouldn't be are going to be mixed all over the place. So I think it's just someone who's genuinely true to themselves, who's kind enough to make the world a better place if they can, rather than sitting back and not doing anything. If you've got the opportunity to make a difference in somebody else's life, your own life, society, do it. I think that's what defines people rather than what someone should be. I think you make your own route to define your own path and your own outlook on things.
And making a difference to people is definitely something that you're doing at the moment. And, God bless you for doing that and keeping on with that. And I hope that you have many, many more meets. And when is the next meet, by the way?
We've got one on, we're at Yorkshire Modified Car Show on next Sunday, the 14th. And then our next one after that would be, sorry, I've got that many going on. I'm trying to think of them all. The big one would be the 21st of this month, which is Father's Day. That's our cars and coffee special at the Wheel Specialist Teesside. We have close to 400 cars turn up for that one.
Fantastic. And obviously, I'm thinking about for when this video comes out, I'm assuming obviously you have meets in July as well.
Yes. We have a weekly meet on a Tuesday called Tuesday Talk, which is at the Warehouse Kitchen and Bar. All information can be found on our Instagram and Facebook pages. We have another track night called Talk at Teesside Motorsports. Again, all the information on our Facebook pages, and there'll be another cars and coffee event with the Wheel Specialist at some point in July as well.
God bless you, Nathan. Nathan, thank you so much for jumping on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to your Instagram onto the video description to this, so that people, if they want to come to you, then they can come out and join in and maybe bring their Morris Minors and someone like that, or any
the more the merrier. The more the merrier, and it doesn't have to be modified. We don't look for anything flash. It's not about the cars or the people, or the motorbikes. Sorry, it's about the people. You know, it's about the person who attends there. So everyone is more than welcome to come and join our meets and events.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nathan. And for everyone who's watching this, please like and subscribe. If you too want to be a guest on the show, the details are in the channel description. Nathan, I will speak to you again soon, and thank you for jumping on.
Thank you for having me, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No problem. You take care now, mate.